a world where equality is just another euphemism for mediocrity, where participation is more highly valued than achievement, where just enough to get by is the new standard of excellence. There is a small minority of people who fight back against such apathy, who struggle daily to reach new heights. These brave few are the hope for the future, the bright shining light for the next generation. They are the ones who will lead us to the places we have never dreamed of, to the undiscovered country, to reach goals only a few can even begin to imagine. Unfortunately, none of those people could be here tonight, so kick back and relax. Prepare yourself for several hours of fun, friendship, fascinating conversation, and fabulous music. All those F's, that's an alliteration and kind of a radio trick. Speaking of radio, you're listening to the most popular radio station in the history of broadcast radio, at least among stations that originate from Chris's living room. It's Curious Times. Your host is a curious listener. Here she is, Chris.
All right, then. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Curious Times. It's a Saturday night, and we do have somebody. Okay, it's April 15th. I guess it's tax day for you guys in the United States. Oh, that reminds me that taxes are due here at the end of the month. So, what's going on over there? I guess in the United States. However, aren't going to talk about it, right? Bad Chris. Okay. Kimber's here today. Tomorrow we have Pamela Vincent, and then Monday Diana Monroe. Tuesday Lisa Nolan Shalosky. Wednesday Emptiness. Thursday Jen Young. Friday Salva Dutton. Next Saturday Sunday are open at this point. Then a whole 2 weeks solid. And then pretty much 3 solid weeks with minus 1 day. So there you go. Assuming everybody makes it, right? Anyway, we will hope that. So okay, let me see. Kimber, she's a clairvoyant, and she does everything. She's psychic. She's a medium. She does psychometry. She did have a near-death experience, and so she reports that following that near-death experience, she noticed that her abilities got stronger, and so I've heard that said by others as well, similar to that. So it seems like a real thing, you know. But Kimber's really dedicated a lot of her time to helping people as much as she can, and animals too. And and we don't know anything else about Kimber. She's a very private person, and so anyway, let's go get Kimber. Hello, Kimber.
Hey, hi. How are you?
Good, you? What's going on with your bad self?
Good. Oh, just been busy. I had a big storm, so my computer was kind of just being really odd for me, so I was a few minutes late. Sorry about that.
No, I was going, I've been fighting with my webcam and stuff like that, ever since the last update that I got, you know. And Flash has been an absolute nightmare for me for about the last month or 3 weeks, something like that. So it's kind of crazy. How's things? What's the weather like? It's been snowing here.
Oh, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty nice. Yeah, warmer and looking forward to all the spring stuff. So yeah, it's been nice. It rained though. We just had a big storm here. So it was kind of some thunder, lightning, but I kind of like that, except for when it messes with my computer. I have enough problems with that already. But yeah, just been looking for places to move, so just been busy with that and stuff around here.
You're staying in your same area?
Yeah, I probably I had thought about moving to a different state and still might in the future, but for now I probably will just go up north a ways, find something, and yeah, I don't know.
Go to one of the states where pot is legal.
What was that?
Go to one of the states where pot is legal. I can move.
Yeah, there you go. I know, like Colorado, that's beautiful. Yeah, that would be a bonus for sure.
They finally got around, like I normally don't vote Liberal here in Canada. I go a little bit further to the left myself. And although sometimes I will vote Liberal just to keep it's like not voting for them, but against the extreme right wing, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
so the Liberal guy, Trudeau, he campaigned on one of his platform items was that he would introduce legislation to legalize, not decriminalize, but legalize recreational marijuana. So he got my vote.
Yeah. There you go. For sure.
I was like, I didn't hear anything, nothing's going on. I'm like, oh, you dirty dog. If you don't do this, I will be so upset that I voted for you. And I guess that last week, on Friday, the bill was introduced, and so they don't expect that it would not pass, and so now it's just a question of how do they implement it when. Now, if I find out that it's going to be one of those laws that says, oh, in the year 2020, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like it to be immediately upon the passage of the bill. Then I believe that they're going to allow people to grow, their own, but you'll have limitations, right? You won't be able to have like 20 pot plants in your house or something like that. But so that's an interesting turn of events. So I think that they said Canada would just be the third country in the world where recreational marijuana use was legalized. A lot of places are criminalizing it, you know what I mean? Which means it's just a ticket then. It's not like a criminal record. It's still against the law, but just a ticket. And, but, so there you go. Go Canada.
Yeah.
Now we can have, instead of the maple leaf on the flag, we could have like probably already people out there with that, instead of the maple leaf, marijuana leaf, Canada.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would, definitely. Well, I think it's great and that everyone should they should all legalize it, make it recreational, make it optional. It really is a medicine. It truly is,
And all this like hate and warmongering and everything will go away.
Yeah, it would be a much happier world, right?
Hey, brother. Doing?
Yeah.
You want to steal my TV? That's okay. You probably need it more than me. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well.
What else? What do you want to talk to us about today?
Well, I couldn't get on my computer, so I couldn't get to any of my stuff till just before the show. But I had seen an interesting thing about cats and how they protect your home from ghosts and negative spirits. Did you ever hear that?
I would think that would be a super slick horror. Because what if what if my dead people love cats? You know what I mean? They're not going to be all that scared off. But I think it's like, there's a lot of people that they're all like, you either like cats or you hate cats. You know what I'm saying? And, and I always wonder about people that say they hate cats because I don't I mean, it's okay if you don't like get all warm and fuzzy with them, but hate? Why do we have to hate cats, you know? And they always have this negative sort of stereotype attached to them, and that might be partly where some of that comes from. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Because, as you said, how could you hate them? Definitely. You know, I love them and have had them most of my life. And I do think they are very amazing animals. And there's cat people, there's dog people, and I'm pretty much a anything animal. You know, I love them all. And I've had very many of all kinds.
One of everything as a pet over there.
Yeah. I pretty much have at one time or another. I've had everything. And I think they all are just have their unique qualities but I know so many people that are really cat people, you know, and that I think some kind of believe that, and it, as you said, the superstitions as for even the black cats, you know, I think that's just kind of so funny how people believe that and have, you know, I think the color doesn't really matter, you know, and some people get kind of, black ones or white ones are very superstitious, you know, but I believe all animals can see spirit, you know, that they, even more so than people.
Yeah, I don't know if they see them with their eyeballs, you know, maybe they're like people. Some people see them, some people sense them, some people hear them. I definitely say they sense them. You know what I mean? There's no doubt in my mind at all about that. And
yes,
I guess that some would see. I mean, remember that picture we were looking at, and that dog definitely was like. Now it's like a little baby though. Could be like looking at like maybe they are seeing something, or maybe they're just feeling something, and they're looking to see what am I feeling. You know what I mean? And so I answer those questions because I'm just a mere radio show host.
Yeah, well, and exactly, that's what I meant too, is, you know, they feel them, they see them, but they have a very unique quality about that. They, you know, like, as you said, children too can pick them up and can see and feel and hear them as well. And so I definitely think that that's something that as we get older, a lot of times we're kind of trained not to, and as a child, we're much more intuitive and open to it, and then throughout life we get told no and trained and basically to not believe in it, not pursue it, not follow it. And it's getting much better nowadays, but especially years ago, and I think it's really hard for kids that don't have someone to help them with that. So a lot of them tend to turn it off, and a lot of adults as well. And that's where animals, they don't get that, you know.
There is none of that programming that goes on. I'll never forget one time I was listening to a show and, the question came up of, I don't know if it came up on the radio, but I had put in there, foresee a day when, there will be, you know, something where they'll be able to teach kids in school about or they should teach kids in school about, you know, closing off their energy, you know, protecting themselves, about empathy, what is that, and when you're sensing and picking up other people's emotions, how to deal with that. And this one woman that was on the air, and that she was freaking out at the idea, you know, and was absolutely opposed to that. And if they want to have a private school and do all that at it, that's fine, but they better not teach that in public school. And I'm all like, how many kids get messed up and have got messed up because just a simple thing of not understanding that they're an empath. And so then they just grow up thinking they're a crybaby, and that they're crying for no reason, and everybody teases them or is mad at them because they cry for no reason, but they're crying for a reason. They just don't know that it's that they're picking up on somebody else's sadness or trouble. And I think that the more kids that could get taught early, what that's all about, the better off they'd be, no?
Yes, exactly. And how much more important that is than a lot of the stuff that they do get taught. And if they were taught about that and how to handle it, as you said, and to learn about it and what it is and about boundaries and feelings and what to do with it all, if they were taught affirmations and meditation, all that kind of stuff, I think would be extremely helpful and be so much more important than certain things that they're taught at school. And it would help them also to develop as a person and a much more peaceful and healthful way, and give them a much more open mind and free will and all the things that they need and choice, and to not just be told this is what you have to do, this is what you should do, this is conform to this certain way. That's so wrong, but I think that's a lot of it, how society or government or whatever it may be wants it to be, more sheep and trained and to not get into all that, to not look into all that, to not have the free mind and to be more thinkers as to this is how it's supposed to be. So I think it would be, as you said, so wonderful to see schools and programs out there for that, and to start at a very young age. If they start all this computer stuff and all this other technology, I think they need to work this into so much more than a lot of that, because everything can be useful, but I think that this is something that doesn't get brought up and doesn't get taught, and the majority of them aren't taught it at home neither, so they need somewhere to go. And I so wish there were more programs and more places and things out there to do that, and funding. It's so sad how they waste so much funding for just things that are so unnecessary, and like how they have the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and all that's great, but they should have the, spiritual scouts, whatever it may be called. But you know what I mean? Something like that would be so great to see. It really would.
Jackie's saying in the chat room is some schools are making kids do meditation versus detention. So instead of detention, well, I guess it's detention, but they have to do meditation. And there's actually a police department somewhere in Canada. I want to say Montreal or something like that. And they actually, as a unit, they meditate together. And that's cool. I think that's cool.
That is. No, see, that's wonderful and so good to hear. And I love the meditation versus detention, because that teaches them so much more than punishing, and it serves a purpose for that time instead of just sitting there.
It is kind of hard to. There's two thoughts I have on. There's three thoughts I have on that. First thought is that would be great, right? That's the first thought. Second thought is, how do you make a kid meditate, right? So they're just going to sit there and whatever. Now we hope that in their boredom and not being able to do or talk or anything, that they'll fall into meditation. You know what I mean? The third thought is careful that we don't make meditation a punishment, because then it will be looked at as bad. You know what I mean? anything that the kids will hate it then. I hate meditating. You know what I mean? Like, so that's almost like a way of pushing them away from it.
Exactly.
I don't know what the right answer is. Those are 3 thoughts that hit my mind with that.
Well, if it was made fun and made a choice, given a choice now, and here's several different ways of doing it. You can do the music meditation over here. If you are a reader and you choose to read, you can go to the library and do it there. There would be I think it would be good if there were several different choices, and then for of doing it and what to do, even outside would be a great one, if they could go out and spend it outside doing something, but to have a choice, and then, as you said, so that it wouldn't be a punishment for the ones that choose not to participate, give them an alternate something else to do, but I think it would be great and to give it, but to make it fun, as you said, to not be a punishment, but to make it fun, but also different people, especially as adults, but as a teaching way, too, to give them that option that it's not all done the same way. You don't have to sit cross-legged and do the om, or anything like that. Different people want to do it different ways. And if it works for you that way, great. But if you can't sit still like me, and a lot of people, it's hard to, sometimes I can, but other times I can't, so I'll find different ways, and meditation can be many different forms, even if it's going through the forest for a walk and clearing your mind and spending nature time, or music. Music is meditation for me, and I use that all the time, and different kinds. So I think it would be good to teach them that as well, that everybody has your own way of doing it, and that there is no set way. Make it yours. Learn several different ways, and that would be something good to, they could pick several different ways. Here's different choices. Try them all, or try the ones you want, and then go with what you're drawn to, or make your own. Do it your way. Take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but because that's the point of it, too. Even as adults, we don't want it to be punishment. We want it to be something that we want to do, something that because I know so many people say, well, I don't have time. Well, then do a few little ones here and there. Make time. Do it when you can, even if it's shower meditation, or in the bath. There's ways of doing that, and taking all that negativity and even if it's music and candles or whatever, and then watching it all go down the drain, saying goodbye to it all. And so it can be many different ways, but I think it would be great if they learn it as they're young, and then about being empaths and about feeling the emotions and what's yours and what's not, and how to handle it and what to do and what it even is, because so many people are, but they have no clue or little bits of what it is, and they don't understand, and it can make life so much harder if you don't, because when you learn even little bit, you can find out what you need to do. As you said, protect yourself, and boundaries are extremely important, and how your way of working it out and picking up other people's energy and finding out, okay, now this is all a bunch of other people's stuff, and it's too much stuff at times, and you need to learn how to deal with that too, because a lot of people keep it in or don't know how to release it or let go of what things that they can't do nothing about. There's being an empath can be extremely hard and emotional. It can be really wonderful and great too. But the more you learn about it, and the more you learn what to do and what it is and how to deal with it and make it your way of dealing with it, it can be really, really difficult. Because, I just think so many people are, but don't even understand or don't really realize.
You could do a really fun one, and it could just come under the heading of, let's practice using our imagination. So everybody close your eyes and we're going to go take a walk, blah, 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 blah. And here we are going through the woods and you know what I mean? And so it wouldn't have to be called meditation at that point for them. It's just come on a little adventure. So close your mind, your eyes, use your imagination to try to, picture the things that we're talking about, right?
Yes, exactly. Definitely. And I think nature's a really, really good way of doing that. And even different parts of nature, if you're drawn to rivers or drawn to lakes or to woods or mountains or, depending where you're living. But it just, I think, can really recharge us, re-energize us, release so much. Like, I think it's Japan, they do like forest bathing. And that, to me, I think is awesome. It's amazing. And, I do it in my own form. And I think it's great because over there it's really a big practice, and I think it should be here, and everyone needs to kind of find their way and what works for them and what brings them that peace and that joy and being able to focus and clear all the thoughts, because that's another thing too, being an empath is so many thoughts. You feel too much. At times it's you feel everything and you feel what everyone else feels and so much and a lot of times can tend to shut themselves out and away from people because they don't realize why they feel the way they do when they go out or are around large crowds or certain people. It can be really hard to be around certain people, whether people you know really well or just strangers, but you pick up things, you feel things, and a lot of times people question themselves. I've had so many people ask me about that or that didn't understand, and I would help them to explain it to them and what it is and that this is why you feel this, and a lot of times it's like, oh wow, I had no clue the majority of my life, and I even could just see a huge change once they started realizing and working with it and understanding and understanding why they're feeling all these things, because it can be difficult, but when it also, there's so many great things about it, and it is truly a gift. It's a wonderful thing. And I think so many kids have it, but then tune it all out and will spend a lot of times the rest of their life just never using their gift, never understanding it, or developing the other ones that come along with it. Because I think it's kind of, a lot of times it's when people start with or start to realize, and then from there other things will come. And the more open and the more you learn, as they say, the more you know. It is true. It really is. And so I would love to see it being taught, definitely, and even for all ages too.
Yeah, sure.
Community.
If kids get used to that young and it can be made fun, then that's actually a beautiful gift that you're giving to that kid for their whole life. You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
But the minute that it's a miserable experience for them, that's not going to be good at all.
No, it should be something that's an option and something that, just like how a lot of times religion or church is, it's something that should be, hey, this is what it is, this is an option, look into it, but it's something that it's really not out there much, and it really isn't. And even for it to be in schools would be great, but like you said, you want to make it something fun, something good, and even if it was a alternate class, especially like in junior high and high school, colleges even.
Credits for the kids,
Yeah. Well, and useful. Some useful knowledge, and I think a lot of them would be extremely interested. And as you said, some easy credits, some good credits, though, and something that I think would help them, as you said, even for their whole life in many ways, because otherwise a lot of them throughout your life, if you don't understand it and you don't use it and you don't know, and your whole life can go such a whole different way. You can not understand, and it can be extremely emotional, extremely difficult, really hard. A lot of times I've seen people get either taken advantage of or just, really had a hard time, couldn't understand their own emotions, felt, just really hard. A lot of times what I see too is I've had a lot of friends that were drawn to like narcissist relationships, and it seems like a lot of times empaths tend to draw that, and if they start to understand that and see and start to realize that, but it is extremely something that I've seen over and over, and even with my very best friend, seen that with her and told her throughout the whole thing, and she went through a very long relationship, and he was just one of the worst ones ever. You look up the definition, and there he is, Chuck, It was like, oh my gosh, just terrible. And I feel that a lot of times they're drawn to that, and if they don't understand that, and they don't understand why they feel the way they do, because it once they start to learn, a lot of times they'll spot dumb people and they'll stay away from them. And not always is it even just a relationship, a love relationship. It can be a family, it can be friends, it can be whatever. And then a lot of times I had especially one person ask me, well, I feel really judgmental. I feel really, and I said, no, it's not that. It's your being how you are, you're picking up. And so you're not that you're judging, but you can meet someone or someone, but you start to pick up things and you start to feel things. And a lot of times that can be, especially with strangers, if it's a bad situation, you go with what you're feeling. And if it feels really negative or feels really strange or really positive and good, it's not that you're judging, it's your feeling. You're knowing, you're picking it up. And there's a difference. There's a huge difference. Because we're not to judge, and some people do, and there's times where that feeling's there, but I think once they understand it's not that, and that it can be really useful when you learn it, and you realize it can save you from so many really bad situations, or it can put you in a lot of really good ones, and I just think that that's really important, especially being young, but even at any age, to understand that and to learn that and to know that. And so I do feel that, especially being an empath, that's extremely important, but for everyone. And I would love to see that taught, even, because you look at how kindergarten even and first grade, and they already are teaching them communications on computers, and they can use their cell phones and better than I can, kindergartners, first grade.
Like back in the old days when we had VCRs, I always say people would yell like, I don't even know how to switch the clock on it. And I'm like, give it to any 6-year-old and they'll figure it out for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Here, program this for me. And they're over there just texting away really fast and little finger typing, It's crazy how they can do all that and learn all that. But if they can do that, imagine what they could do with the knowledge and wisdom and with the stuff that's really good for them and really important. And so, because dumb minds, we're always learning, but they're forming at such a young age and always learning. So it's good to make what you're learning good, at least the majority of it.
And even when I was a kid, like math was always such a nightmare for me. And then I got into junior high, and one of the phys ed teachers was the math teacher, and he was a funny guy, and he didn't take stuff as seriously as most mathematicians. And so I did usually not too good in math because it was a miserable experience, And he was the kind of teacher that if somebody said shit, he'd be like, "What? Did somebody say they saw a ship?" And that kind of thing. And then so like he just was low key chill, and he was funny, and so it made math fun. And all of a sudden, like I was getting good marks in math. You know what I mean? And it's because it wasn't a traumatic experience for me. and all the difference in the world. So if we're going to teach kids how to meditate, starting at a young age, we can't be all, you have to, and don't move, and because as soon as we start admonishing them, it becomes a negative experience, and they're. Now let me just take a quick peek here and see what we're doing. It's for me an early night again. Should be my last early night, and so I have to. I know I don't even realize I'm doing it anymore. Like I just I'm poking hard on the e-cigarette. You know what I mean? And I should take a puff and put it far away from me, but it's always in my hand. That happens to a lot of vapors, It's like it's always in your hand and ready to fire, and so then when I get all focusing on something else than that, it just it's an automatic thing, hey? And so whereas smoking a cigarette, I would have to open the package, take the cigarette out, and all of that kind of thing, but but it is I saw a thing the other night and they were talking about e-cigarettes, and there isn't a lot of proof to show that it helps anyone. A lot of e-cigarette people, they say, continue to smoke cigarettes and vape, and once I started vaping, that was it. No more cigarettes at all. Ever since, period. That's it. And so for me, it definitely made all the difference in the world. It definitely helped me to quit just like that. And so now, long term, who knows? Maybe there is something not all that good about it. But I'll tell you what, overnight, I used to wake up packing up a lung like an old man for half an hour to an hour every morning. So much so that I'd have to get up extra early, or if I was expecting a call in the morning, I'd have to wake up earlier so that I wasn't hacking through the phone call, And so for me, I noticed the difference right the very first day after I stopped smoking, and ever since. And so it's been a huge difference for me. And that's really all I have to say about that. But I guess if you legalize marijuana, I guess they got a way that you can, I don't know how it works, but I'm going to find out.
There you go.
I think they have units that you put a little bit of pot in the thing, and then it's not rolling it and smoking it like that. It turns it into vapor as smoke, if I understand correctly. So people are vaping pot too, apparently, and I don't mean that. What do we call that? What is that stuff that's not THC but the other stuff, the medicinal stuff that people are paying way too much for? Anyway, they have that in little vape units, but I think that there's a unit out there now where just take the pot and whatever, it heats it up in a way that it creates, I don't know, I have to, but I will find. I'll report back. And so anyway, see, gosh, that's what happens when I look at the chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Me too. That's why I try not to.
I'm going to give you guys the same option as I gave the last few nights, but last night people didn't take me up on it. But the night before they did. And that is that at the bottom of the hour, at the bottom of the next coming hour, so in about a half an hour, I'm heading out. And if there's interest, I'll let you guys stay and open your mics and just chat, hang out in the chat room, talk with each other. We can stop the recording so that you don't have to worry. Yeah, CBD. Thank you, Shelby. And you guys can hang out as long as you want. But if I don't have an answer as to whether you're going to do that or not, then in a half an hour, I'm shutting it down. So I need to know. You guys can figure it out in the next half hour. So let's get on with it and get a couple people on, because I think there's a couple of people anyway. One for sure. I think Renee. Renee, are you looking to come on for a reading? Renee, not Renee Richards, the other Renee. Yes, we push 1-1 right now on your phone, Renee, if you are interested in a reading. That'll help me. 1-1. Oh, maybe she's not. Yes, she did. Okay, very good. Very good. I got you. 10-4. So let's bring her on. It takes Kimber about half an hour to do a reading anyway. And so we're going to go ahead and we'll get Renee on, and then we'll kind of go from there, okay? In the meanwhile, if you guys could figure out amongst yourselves whether you're staying or going, then that would be helpful for me. So, hello, Renee. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm great. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Good.
I'm sorry. I'm loving, Chris, I'm sorry. This is the second time I've called in, and I love watching that plume of smoke around you. It reminds me of like a tribal thing that you're inviting people in. So it's not a criticism. It's kind of a humorous thing. So I hope you understand that.
Because you know what? If somebody hated it, I wouldn't care. I'd still do it.
Yeah, I know. But I like it. It's cool. It's very, yeah. I just feel like we're sitting around a campfire or something.
Thank you for that. So, have you ever spoken with Kimber before?
No, never have. Hi, Kimber.
Hi. Yay, thanks for calling.
Hi. So can I ask you, I need some guidance with my fiance. I'm rather ticked at him at the moment. You know, when someone does something, I just don't feel very appreciated or the way that I should be. And I'm just trying to control me. I can't control him. And so I'm just trying to figure out the best way to handle what he's doing. Should I explain a little more?
No, I'm picking up. He seems like he has a hard time expressing his emotions as much. He keeps things more to himself a little bit. I think he needs some nudging, so to speak, some from you, because I think he wants to kind of express more, but just is kind of one of them people that tends to keep more inside and to himself, and will open up at certain times and kind of shut off and be more quiet. And what I'm picking up and feeling, and that is I'm getting it's from a past relationship and maybe even kind of some family stuff as well.
Yes.
And so that's, okay, because, I get that's why he is the way that he is, but you can open him up. See, you're
I know that.
For that. Yes. You have the gift for this. You are great with people. You have such a wonderful heart. You are very, very sweet and kind, very loving. And you are perfect for this. You got to, I get like cracking the shell, like an egg, you know, and cracking the shell and breaking this open.
Definitely.
He needs that. Many ways you're going to know, and when the time, because there's certain times where it's okay, back off a little bit, just kind of sit back a little bit, and he'll kind of give you them signals. You're going to know it yourself because you're very intuitive. You feel it. You're an empath, and so you pick up and you feel it. You can read him. You can feel him. You feel his energy. And you're always,
I'm very much, I'm always calling him on this stuff because I have to. Yeah. That's the way I have to work with him. I mean, it just works for me to, I just have to call him on it. I just do.
Yeah, well, and that's good. And he likes that about you. But at times it also, he's like, because he can't hide nothing. He can't get away with nothing.
I know. But, he picked me and I picked him, so.
Oh, yeah. And he loves that about you. And also that you're a very good match. You're very good for each other. You know how in relationships one can compensate for other, and when you put them together, there's certain things that one is really good at or one can do, and then same with the other, and you kind of work together, and you guys are perfect with that. You have this great relationship in that way, and what you need, I keep seeing romance, and.
Well, that's what I say. You need to, I just went ahead and bought my Faith Hill and Tim McGraw tickets by myself. I wanted him to take me. I keep giving him hints, and I'm just like, you know what? Forget it. I'll do it myself. So I'm going by myself, which I'm fine with, but he's got to learn. So, I don't know. I want to go, and I'm not going to wait around, and so I don't know. It's just the way I operate. It's like he's going to be... Yeah, whatever. I mean, I can do it. I have to do it. So I have to set the precedence of that. Does that make sense?
Yes, completely. You're very independent. You're one that, hey, if you need to get out and go have fun, then if they want to come, they can come. If not, you're going. And that's good.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's what you need to do, and there's times where it's good to do those things by yourself, certain things, and as for him, you got to initiate the romance, and because he wants it, he wants to do it, but he's one that is just, as I said, it's some things in the past, and he'll work past it, but you got to kind of steer him there, and and then he's going to get over that feeling and get over that hump, so to speak, that bump in the road. And once he's over that, then it's going to be smooth sailing. It's going to be much, much better and much easier. And you're going to be great at helping him to do this. You're going to do this with him and for him. And so start with things like picnics, romantic dates, just walks, say, hey, let's plan a date night, let's Wednesday night or Friday night or whatever, let's do this, or early one morning, let's go, on a picnic, and we'll go for a walk and spend some time together. Everything from boating, if he likes to go fishing, pick some guy things too, if you guys
right.
I
like the guy things, but I just figure I have to kind of do it because his daughter said they were Santorini's half Greek, and she said, on the donkey, you have to get it to go in the right direction. She's kicking the donkey, and I said, yeah, like your dad, like I do with your dad. Like you got to kind of, kick the donkey, nudge him.
Yes, exactly. Put a carrot on a fish pole and, put it in front of him and get him going, show him that treat. And that's going to help. And everything from some, if he is, as you said, Greek, do a Greek night, a special food, find some really good Greek foods, and then even another night an Italian night, another night a Chinese night.
Right.
Maybe.
So I kind of have to initiate all this.
Yes. And I know you're thinking,
I don't like being the boss all the time, but okay, I can do it.
Well, sometimes they like you being bossy. They want you to put them, kind of tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And that can be in the bedroom as well.
Exactly.
So there too, you might want to be a little bit bossy and a little fun.
Oh yeah, no problem there.
Yeah, I know. See, that's why I'm telling you, because I know there's no
really
problem there.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Kimber, and I hope to speak with you again. And I work for the airline, and so it's really nice to. I hear Chris with the pom-pom powwow smoke.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, and hey, you're gonna have so much fun, and thank you. And hey, whenever I'm here, and keep me informed, let me know, and I'm always here to help. So, and you can get a hold of me. But yeah, definitely, you're perfect at this, and you guys have a great, loving relationship. And you're going to do really well with them. Have fun. Make it fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so very much, and good luck.
Oh, thank you. I'm sending you lots of energy tonight, and you're better off without a computer as Mercury's retrograde, and it's really bad right now. So off the cuff, I think is better. It's really bad. So
yes, definitely. I'm feeling it.
Don't worry about it. Anyway, you're doing a great job. Have fun tonight. I'll still be listening.
Thank you.
Everyone should call in. It's just what I do,
Thanks.
Okay, bye. Bye, Chris. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All ignoring me.
No, sorry.
You're ignoring me. Okay, that was the quickest reading ever in my life that I saw you do. And so,
yeah. Oh, I would have kept going.
We have no more callers, and Jackie in the chat room was saying, "Oh, well, how do I get a hold of you to, talk about being an empath?" And I'm like, told her call in and talk about it here. You know what I mean? Other people want to hear too, and all of you guys can call in and have a little group chat about it if you want. But really, if we don't have much else going on and nobody's going to call in, where we just go now? Oh, she's going to call. Good, she's going to call. So let me throw on a song, and then we'll get one when she calls in. So I haven't played this one in a while. I used to play it. All right, here we go. So we are done, and let's go.
Hey. Oh, you there? Hey.
No, she's not. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Well, I think you guys can't hear me, maybe.
Before you were kind of cutting out a little bit here and there, but for the most part I can hear you. And not now you're fine.
I don't see Jackie called in, so.
Oh, okay.
Well,
if she can't right now, she can always get a hold of me, and I'd be more than happy to help her with it, definitely. And if she wants to call in now or next time or whatever, I'd love to help her with it, though, definitely.
She's going to try it again. So if she makes it in time, then that's good. Otherwise, we will wind it up early and get on our ways. And we'll reconvene tomorrow night with Pamela Vincent.
Yeah.
I like Pamela, actually. Get into some interesting conversations with her, too. I get into interesting conversations with all you. All good, all the time.
Oh, yeah. Always fun. Definitely.
Well, yeah, it is. Because we all click so well, you know. You got like, there she is. Hi, Jackie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Hey.
Good. Hi, Kimber. I don't know why my phone volume is not that loud. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll turn up everything a little bit, and I don't know if that'll help you or not, but because I'm gonna go now since you guys got on the phone. Amy, are you there? Oh, Amy can't. Amy's not in the chat room. Here's what I'm gonna do. I was hoping to record this part, but I suspect that I don't want to interrupt the conversation down the road. You know what I mean when I leave. So tomorrow, Pamela Vincent's here, and everything should be, good to go. And Kimber, thank you as always. I appreciate it. You guys can hang out as long as you want. And as soon as you're done and you had as much fun as you can stand, just leave the room. You know what I mean? No big deal. That's all you got to do. Hang up, leave the room, and everything will be fine. So I'm going to thank archive listeners. We'll check you next time.